Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
A very warm welcome in the fourth module of week 2 of the course Entrepreneurship and IP Strategy. Now, in the first week what we have seen, that is what is entrepreneurship, then what do you understand by IP, whether entrepreneurship and IP are related, what is the role of IP strategy in entrepreneurship, and then we have seen one case study, right. Then in the second week, that is which is completely dedicated to innovation. Then we have seen the differences between what is innovation, what is invention, and what is creativity. Then what are the different types of innovation, then what is that innovation, market and IP, how they are related. And now we are concentrating on open innovation and IP. Now you will say that why I should know about the open innovation and what that exactly the open innovation is, and what is the role of that open innovation in my entrepreneurial activity. So let us see how that may be useful to you. That is a one angle we will look into. Second is that if you are not started your entrepreneurial activity, and if you are a student and if you are taking some part in the competitions, you will understand the logic and what cautions you should take when you are participating in such competitions. So that particular thing, that is a innovation and entrepreneurship, you have to just appreciate how exactly it is related to your entrepreneurial activity. Now after that, means after this second week, we are completely entering into the dedicated, they are like dedicated to IP, and then we are entering into see the different types of IPs in very detail. So here we start with that innovation thing. Now we have appreciated that IP is an integral part of a technology and innovation management, that we have clearly accepted. Now you know that legal rights are what we can say, they are given to the creator, and IP is an instrument for that particular thing. Then we have also seen that innovation and technology management and this IP management, all these three are overlapping in nature. So we cannot differentiate between technology and innovation and intellectual property. All these are working together and they are overlapping in what we can say each other. So when we are developing, means as an entrepreneur, when you are developing technology, when you are in that innovative mode, you have to concentrate on potential IP at that time only. So that aspect also you have appreciated. Then we have seen that this IP is that is an intangible property, and it is like we have to, it is an asset, and how you can protect it. Now this innovation, invention and ideas that are captured and protected through maybe patent, maybe trade secret, maybe trademark, or even publication that gives you a copyright, that is a one of the type of a IP. Now effective IPMS, that is an intellectual property management system. When you are starting your entrepreneurial activity, you will have just like a technology management, just like your R&D management, you may develop your own department as a intellectual property management department, which will take care of your IPMS. Now this IPR, you know now that these are the different types of IPR, like we have seen 8 types: patent, copyright, industrial design, trademark, protection of plant varieties and farmers' right. Then we have seen that there is a trade secret as one of the what we can say intellectual property, and we have seen the different types of acts which are related to that particular IP. So up to this you have clearly appreciated, okay, innovation, technology, intellectual property, and intellectual property as an instrument to protect your technology and your innovation. Now we will try to concentrate the simple example that in your what we can say entrepreneurial activity, what exactly is there and how it is related to IP. Okay. So now what we will do, we will try to just understand your day to day activities as an entrepreneur, what you are doing, and I will just give you how it is a type of a IP, so that you can appreciate daily you are dealing with one or the other type of IP in your entrepreneurship. So, for example, if you take a business idea, the business idea, it is a trade secret. So, when we are talking about a business idea, it is better, as it is a trade secret, you will take a utmost precaution to protect that particular thing, keep it confidential. Next is business plan and a method. Again, that is a trade secret, and if you are doing something in USA, probably you can protect it by patent, and therefore, we can consider it as a patent, as a what we can say IP, which is related to business method. Then there is a product technology. Now, you can clearly appreciate that this product technology, it is a clearly a patent aspect. So, that particular type of IP, that is patent, is related to product technology. Now, the next is a production. Now, if you say production, there can be a trade secret and there will be a know-how. That know-how is a very important, and that will be associated with that. Now, next, like a component technology. If you take a component technology, that may be a mass work protection will be required. So, something like a semiconductor related industrial, that layout design act is there, you can use that particular thing to protect that particular thing, particular what we can say system configuration. Then software or data is there. Now, what is related to that? Software, if it is there, trademark and trade secret is related to that particular thing. Now, then there is a auxiliary services that can be protected by trademark and trade secret. Then there is a what we can say distribution related technology is there. Now, this can be protected by patent or it may be a trade secret. Then if you consider marketing concepts are there, that concepts you have to keep control, means you can control it or protect it by a copyright, or you can have something like a open public relations information, and you can share that information. The next is the packaging design. There is a industrial design protection. We will see that industrial design. So, when we are talking about a packaging, industrial design plays very important role. And then the last one, that is a company and business name is there, logos are there, slogans are there, all things you can protect from protect by using a trademark especially. And then trade dress concept is also there, and the copyright design is there. So, now you can appreciate here that yes, there are this different kind of components. I am dealing with it as a my entrepreneurial activity, and everything you can see that protected by some or the other type of a IP. So, we have to take caution as an entrepreneur that okay, this type of a what we can say activity is going on in my entrepreneurial activity, I will protect it by using this particular type of a IP. Now, if we share the open innovation related concept, now what exactly that is? It is started long before in 1960. Okay. Now, this a typical company like outsourced less than 5% of their research and development. That was the scenario in 1960. You can imagine that the people were not ready to share their R&D activity or anything with the outsider, and it was like a, you can say a closed innovation. It is restricted to that particular organization. Even today there are many organizations which are not ready for open innovation, because maintaining contracts and what we can say all legal processes whatever they have to follow, that are little bit tedious, and they have to follow it very carefully, and therefore many organizations prefer to be like innovation to keep it as a closed. But if you see, I will give you some examples of big organization. They have converted this what we can say R&D activity, and they have accepted the approach that is okay, 20% up to that kind of what we can say innovation activities are done by this concept like open innovation. In US 1980, only 40% of the industrial R&D came from companies with more than 25,000 employees, compared with a 70% in a 1960. Now, what happened that globalization or democratization of information technology, competitive policies, then mobility of people, that new financing system, all this created an ecosystem and sources for the innovation. and traditional exclusive control, that kind of a mindset or that kind of company's approach is completely what we can say tried, that okay, we will not follow that traditional exclusive control approach, but we can move towards a open innovation. That kind of approach came into the practice and many organizations are trying. Now, if I give you the example that IBM, everybody is aware about IBM, which is a top IP filing in the world and it is maintaining its position almost more than a decade. They have launched open collaborative research program. It was designed to facilitate collaboration between IBM and research institutes in the field of open source software. Open source software is a very fantastic, what we can say, the activity, and here many people who are completely not related, but they are working together and they are bringing some, what we can say, a very innovative product, and that is a collaborative research, and IBM has launched that particular thing. Microsoft also tried that particular activity and they have created, what we can say, they have such platforms and tried to connect with the firms. Apple, that is a, what we can say, they have that rigid reservations of licensing and Mac operating system costs, but they have also taken a, what we can say, chance to do that particular open innovation. Microsoft offered their Windows operating system through a license and thus making them a dominant player in the market. So, you can imagine that Apple, this Microsoft, then IBM, they have already tried this particular thing and it is continuously, what we can say, they have found it very promising, and therefore, they are obviously what we can say following that particular open innovation approach. Now, it is not necessary that open innovation is like a completely everybody, it is completely, what we can say, open to all public and all that thing. Sometimes it may be like limited to a certain, what we can say, firms, or it may be limited to certain institutions. So, there are different types of that open innovation approaches which are followed. We will see that in a few minutes, but we have to just understand that what the open innovation is, that as an entrepreneur, if I am starting my activity, I should not remain as a what we can say a closed kind of approach, a traditional approach. I can just think of 5% to 10% of open innovation. I can involve, what we can say, a related, what we can say, your customers or your institutions, and maybe you can think of a innovation related activity in collaboration with that by giving some particular maybe perks or some other facilities, and obviously taking a proper precaution. Legal activities are there and that you have to follow. Now, that what kind of a legal activities you have to take care or you have to take caution when we are entering into the open innovation is like this, that we have to keep a record properly, that okay, who is contributing that particular aspect of that innovation. That record keeping system must be proper when we are talking about a innovation. Then when exactly that activity happened, if you could able to do that time stamping or registration of that activity, who has contributed that particular thing. So, if you develop some platform, some software, something like that for that particular thing, obviously what will happen, that record will be kept and that will be very useful if you want to handle any legal issue, if by what we can say any unfortunate legal issue if arises, that will be helpful for you to handle any that legal matter. Now, licensing is one of the important thing, that if you are doing that particular open innovation contract, you are entering into some contract and maybe you have to execute that contract there. Then licensing in a such a way, it is a one of the type of a contract only, and you have to take caution when you are doing that particular activity, because you are giving your licensing means you are giving your technology to someone to further development of that particular thing. Okay. So, that is the next thing. Then non-disclosure agreement, if it is necessary, yes, you have to execute that non-disclosure activity. Then you may have to control access. So, probably you may give a what we can say restricted access to a particular group, and you will decide that who can access what information. So, that kind of things like a contracts, non-disclosure agreements, time stamping, registration, record keeping, access control, all these things we have to keep when we are thinking of a open innovation. Now, Further, that if you want to, what we can say that many corporation now, if I give you the, I have given you the example of IBM or Apple, we will just look into little bit deeper into that, so that you can relate it with your entrepreneurship. So, Samsung, it is operating, that is 4 categories of collaboration Samsung is doing. So, you just now relate your activity and whether you can apply that particular 4 collaborative categories are there, you can choose any of that. There are a few more, but what Samsung is considering partnership, it is very limited, only 2 or 3 firms or people or institutes, they can be involved. Then ventures are there, then accelerators are there, that is very important, then acquisition is there. So, any of that particular activity is taken into consideration when they are talking about a collaboration. Now, I can give you the best example Samsung has done. Samsung, they have acquired IoT company SmartThings, and this is a very common practice these big organizations are doing. For example, Reliance is doing that particular thing, that it is funding to many startups which are doing activity related to, and this you please note that they are doing this activity, they are keeping watch on the market, they are keeping watch on the startups, and if they found that okay, this particular activity is related to my particular business, then they are approaching themselves to that startups and they are trying to acquire that particular thing. So that after acquisition, obviously they are giving you fund, and then you can work in collaboration with them to develop particular, what we can say, whatever the technology or software or whatever it may be. Now, here Samsung has what Samsung has done, acquired a SmartThings IoT company. Now, you can imagine that home appliances whatever we are using, they are completely based, that automation is based on IoT only. So, you can imagine the acquisition of that particular startup, and if you are a startup, you just imagine you are getting acquired by a big company like a Samsung. What you are getting? You are getting fund, and you are giving service in what says your technology will be acquired or applied by company like Samsung, and you can reach that products are reaching all over the world. That is a benefit for you, right, as a startup. What Samsung is getting on behalf of because of this activity, they are getting a ready-made solutions, and they have not to develop such R&D for that particular activity, and they are getting ready-made solutions to them to apply to their, what we can say, the products which are already they are developing. So, that is a win-win situation here. So, same thing is happening obviously with the examples which I have given you earlier, that everybody is getting one or the other benefit. Now, here I will give you one example of local motors. You can watch this video and you can realize that here what they are doing, it is an automobile organization. Now, they are developing some what we can say a car with a particular feature. Now, what they have done, they have given a challenge. Now, what that kind of challenge is that they have defined that okay, we are looking for this particular kind of a outcome, and what is the solution with you. So, that is an open challenge given to what we can say community, and then community, and they have created a platform where you can give the solutions. Now, here we will watch this video, and then I will give you a little bit information about how cautious you should be when we are entering into this particular type of open challenges there. So, here we will watch this video.
Welcome to 1975. Vehicles in today's day and age get 13 miles to a gallon of gas. They boast 137 horses, and they go from 0 to 60 in 14.1 seconds. 1975 cars weigh just over 4,000 pounds.
Welcome to the 21st century, where vehicles achieve almost twice the fuel economy, have nearly double the horsepower, and go 0 to 60 faster than their 1975 equivalent.
You just go through that video so that you can get idea how that they are placing the challenge to the community. You will enjoy that thing. Now, what I was saying that if you are a student, I am not talking about you are as an entrepreneur now. I am talking if you are a student in your college, you are doing your studies, and if you are participating in any of a competition which is organized by organizations, and you are giving solutions to that particular what we can say problem, there will be a good prizes for that particular thing. But I will suggest you that you will take a caution that when you are doing thing, please make sure that you will because you are giving your intellectual input, that is your intellectual creation, and that you are sharing with what we can say that particular organization. And if you are planning any of your entrepreneurship activity based on that particular domain, I will suggest you please do not participate in that particular competition, because what will happen, you are sharing your ideas there to that particular organizer, and probably that will be utilized, and you are already what we can say creating competition for you, or already you are giving your ideas and somebody is using that particular thing. I am not asking you to don't participate in the competition, but you will take a caution what to share and what not to share. That is very important. And if you are entering into entrepreneurial activity in that same domain, I will suggest no, you will not participate, or you will not share your ideas, what you are thinking about that particular domain. Okay. So, this is a caution as a student and planning as an entrepreneur. Now, as an entrepreneur, how you can look into that open innovation, that is again important. We have seen examples, we have seen that is they are related, that innovation, IP, technology, they are related. Now, how you can use this particular open innovation and what are the different ways, we will see that in a few minutes, but I will give you a simple example, one example, so that you can relate it very easily. Samsung, I have given you the example. Now, I will give you another a few examples, and then we will see how you can use it. So, Schlumberger is there. Now, this Schlumberger Rebound Product Center, they have developed, this organization has created SPRC as a separate entity in the France, and then they have expanded that particular thing across world, I will say, because they have units at a different places, especially now in Europe, in France, that particular SRPC is there. Now, what exactly SRPC is doing? This SRPC is identifying potential partners. Now, what that potential partners may be, it may be academic institution, or it may be a firms, or it may be a startups kind of thing, but they are keeping watch. They have that dedicated team to do the mapping of the organization, probably which can be helpful in their development of their R&D. And what they are doing, they are trying to collaborate with that particular organizations. Now, this SRPC is doing collaboration, but obviously they are taking caution that all legal what we can say procedures are there, and that we have to follow. That is an external innovation they are what we can say doing. What internally they are doing? Internally they have their R&D in place. Okay. Now, along with that, they have a internal innovation space, that is a innovation hub. They have created separate innovation hub. So, this is something a very good idea if you are thinking of your venture, you can have innovation hub. And who will participate in that innovation hub? Your employees, your staff, then any external company which is involved in your what we can say activity, vendors, or maybe what we can say your customers, you can allow them to give your, but that customer will be an external thing. But here when you are talking about internal, you can just closely keep that particular innovation club to your staff, your employees, and that particular representatives of your collaborators. Probably that kind of innovation hub you also can create for your entrepreneur activity. So, this is an example of a Schlumberger. Now, next is like a United Genome Project is there. Now, this United Genome Project that it is a collaborative medical related project, it is a medical R&D, and this is a very good example of a collaborative project for the related to genome. Android, you are very well aware about that, it is a completely open source activity, and that help in the development of that particular kind of a product which is developed in a short time with a better what we can say aspects to that particular what we can say app. So, That is one. The other example is like you probably have seen that there are like Lego is a very good example. They keep competitions and they have their own site, and they have that idea site. They are calling it as an idea site only, and you can contribute and give ideas. Yeah, I remember here that there is a Innocentive. It is one of the platform, and they are giving you the problem. They have a very defined problem, and then if you give solution to that problems, they are giving you some what we can say in if they select your idea, they are giving you some what we can say award or some money. It's a very good amount of money is there. So that is a very interesting platform. So that kind of activity organizations are pushing, because ideas are important. You can appreciate and that how ideas are important and how it can be helpful for the organization, and organization are organizing such competition and developing such platforms to get what we can say to get that ideas from the their customers or external agents also. Then Mozilla is a very good example of open source software which we are using. Facebook, you know, they are using hackathons to generate fresh ideas, right. So G is another example. So they have their open innovation space. So we just name a big organization and everybody have that particular open innovation platform where they are allowing people to contribute. Philips is another example, and they have a high tech campus kind of what we can say, they have dedicated activity, and they are doing that idea hunting, I can say, and open innovation, and this what we can say activity is helping them to get that particular ideas, and based on that they will run their project and create their IP, and obviously IP will give them monopoly, right. Now I was just talking about the various kind of ways by which you can develop your innovation. So there are a few ways like internal R&D. I have given you the example of internal R&D, internal space is there, like innovation hub is there. Then licensing is there, like you can develop a contracts and develop that particular activity. Then joint R&D is there, you can, it will be a slight open kind of activity. Here you can identify say academic institute or another firm, and you can execute some contracts between them, and you can define what will be the collaborative activity. It is not necessary everything you will keep as a collaboration. A small part of your activity you can just share with them, and you can have a what we can say joint activity there. Then innovation challenge is such a what we can say different kind of competitions are I have just shared with you. So you can just think of that kind of thing. Corporate venture capital is there, that is another way. Joint ventures is there, that okay, come together with some another firm and develop some product. It is not necessary, you can have a product range, one of the product you can develop with a joint venture, that is another way. Acquisitions, if you are well what we can say a settled organization, then you can think of acquisitions, but you can think acquisition in a different way. Just like I have given you example, Samsung is looking for the okay. So Samsung, so for example, acquisition you can think in a different way, in a sense like this, that if you are a startup, you can just think of an example of a Samsung or a Jio. So they may think of okay acquiring you, that will be a win-win situation if you are thinking in that direction. That is if you are thinking that okay, I will develop particular thing and it will be better if I can attract such big organizations. So you can use this what we can say internal R&D, licensing, joint R&D, innovation challenge, corporate venture capital, joint ventures and acquisition. So in short, if you see that innovation, invention, creativity, all things are going on, you are already doing that thing, but IP component is missing probably. So now you will start looking that okay, I have given you a list of 12 what we can say components, business components, try to relate the IP which is involved there and try to secure that IP rights, and look into that okay, open innovation, how you can use it for your entrepreneurial activity by these various ways, just these are in front of you, and you can what we can say in short time achieve a major goal if you go for a open innovation. I guess this is good enough for you as an innovation, because this whole week was about the innovation. In the next session, we are seeing one case study related to innovation and IP. and that will help you to appreciate the innovation management and IP management and how they are going together or how they are overlapping in nature. I hope you are enjoyed this session. See you in the next session. Thank you.